Ready? All right. Hey guys, so people have been asking about what my daily vitamins and minerals supplementation looks like. So this is what it looks like right now. This does change based on my blood work and if I feel like I need something based on performance metrics or something along those lines or how I feel. This is not necessarily what you should be taking, although a lot of these things that I'm taking are things that most people could probably benefit from, especially if you live in America and eat the kinds of foods we eat and don't get outside enough and that kind of thing. So I have divided these into morning and evening, with this one in the middle because I take it for both. General guidance is you're going to want to be taking vitamins more biased toward the morning, minerals more biased toward the evening, with certain exceptions at certain times, which we'll get into because the exceptions are generally over here. So obviously vitamin C, 1 gram per day should be enough, should be fine. This is just the cheap Kirkland stuff, don't overthink it. There are other formulations that are supposedly better or whatever. I haven't seen good evidence to say that anything other than just cheap vitamin C works, so long as it is actually dosed properly. 1 gram or 1,000 milligrams per day should be adequate, should be all that you need. And then, of course, zinc. So both of these are mostly to support immune health. Zinc has certain other things it's doing as well, but primarily these are for just immune system function and things like that. But the food that I eat, that most of us eat, doesn't really have much vitamin C in it. And same thing for zinc. Zinc's fairly depleted in a lot of the food sources that we use. And so that's where I'm getting it. Alpha GPC is a choline product. This is the only formulation of choline that's bioavailable, and even then a lot of it does get broken down. I take one of these morning and evening. One serving is 2 pills, and so I take one in the morning, one in the evening. So that's kind of why it's here in the middle. Choline is used for it's used primarily in the brain for just all cognitive processes. So if you struggle with brain fog or just sort of mental fatigue in general, if you have a very mentally demanding job or lifestyle, then it can be useful, especially if you deal with brain fog in the afternoons or later in the day. Can be helpful. It also can help with sleep sometimes if you're deficient. A lot of just neurological processes get blunted when you don't have enough. Eggs are probably the biggest source that most of us commonly eat that have choline in them, but alpha GPC is just a good supplement to take, and I do notice a little bit I just feel a little sharper when I'm taking it. Seems to improve sleep quality a little bit. Magnesium glycinate. This is the formulation I like to use. There's other formula that are good. Magnesium glycinate is the one that's generally going to be the best for neurological function and sleep, taken in the evening now. These are all taken, by the way, right after dinner while I still have food in my stomach. And so magnesium glycinate, again, it's also fully chelated, so it's more bioavailable. May or may not make a big difference to me. I don't know, don't really care. But glycinate is the one that's mostly formulated for nervous system function and sleep processes and muscle relaxation, that kind of thing. So as you can imagine, helpful for evening and sleep and stuff like that. Next, I'll kind of put these two together. This is vitamin D3, or no, that's not vitamin D3. This is vitamin D3. I take 5,000 IUs per day, puts me about in the middle of the range, lower mid-range for blood work. You may or may not need the same amount. Most people between 3,000 and 5,000 IUs is an ideal dose. If you're someone that lives in a southern climate, you're outside a lot, you might not need any. Where I live, it's cloudy a lot, especially when it's not summertime. And so even during summer, I take some. I'll probably bump this down to a couple thousand IUs, but we'll see. So I also take vitamin K2 with it, specifically the MK7 formulation. The MK7 formulation has a longer half-life than the other formulations, and that's why I specifically utilize it. The half-life on the other formulations is much shorter, and this will be it lasts a little bit longer in the body. This is because vitamin D3 supplementation depletes K2 specifically. And so what can happen when you're low on D2 is it can actually reduce the elasticity of your blood vessels and the arteries, and can actually result in plaque formation because there can be a certain degree of hardening associated with that. So what we're really looking for from this is just to make sure that we have, we're avoiding plaque formation and things like that. Probably pretty much every man in the United States should be taking this. among certain other things. We'll get to what probably everyone should be generally taking, but this specifically, K2 with the MK7 formulation, you should probably be taking this, whether heart disease runs in your family or not. It does not in mine, but I still take it anyway. D3, by the way, it's labeled as a vitamin. It's actually more of a hormone than a vitamin, and naturally it would be most elevated in the evening time, which is when I'm taking it, because it does assist with sleep processes. You can imagine during the day, if you're a normal human being outside a lot or something like that in an ideal environment, that's when you'd have the most vitamin D production, because you've been producing it in response to sunlight stimulus throughout the day. Next, this is specific to me, iron. I found that sometimes I run a little bit anemic. I eat a decent amount of red meat, but for whatever reason, I seem to need a little bit more. This is actually a specific formulation. Where is it? Iron polypeptide. So this is a little bit more bioavailable, a little easier to break down. And sometimes you take iron and it can result in some degree of gastric distress. And I did notice that when I was taking another supplement. This one does not do it so much, and it's only 11 milligrams. It's not that much, but it did help relieve the anemia that I was experiencing and some off numbers with my red blood cell count and things like that. The other thing that I'm taking here, what's this one called? Oh, folate, that's right. So folate I'm taking, normally reserved for pregnant women. I'm actually taking it to support certain sleep processes. It actually did seem to be helpful to me. I had some signs that I was a little bit low. I didn't do blood work to verify, because it's pretty innocuous to just take it and see if that seems to do anything. It did seem to improve my sleep quality slightly. So I'm just gonna probably keep taking it. I have very demanding work and work schedule and responsibilities and stuff. And so sometimes higher stress levels can increase or decrease, or I should say it this way. It can increase how much folate you need, and you might not be getting enough from diet anyway. In my case, I may have been depleted. It's tough to say, but this is the formulation that I got. Seems very bioavailable by Thorne. It's available on Amazon, and it did seem to be useful to me. It's tough to say. I didn't check blood work when I did it, but it has seemed to be helpful. I'll probably keep taking it. This is, I think, the first bottle I'm on. It's got 60, and I'm like halfway through it. And then finally, glycine. Glycine you can take in very, very high doses. Most people can. I cannot, because I get headaches from it if I take very much. But glycine is actually also a artificial sweetener. So if you supplement with glycine, it's a great add-on to certain evening snacks, like with fruit or something, because it tastes like sugar and doesn't have the aftertaste that like any artificial sweeteners do. And it does not have the potential negative consequences associated with artificial sweeteners. Like some people get headaches and gastric distress and things like that. It is very useful for helping your sleep quality and clearing oxidants, or antioxidants, but it is an antioxidant. So it relieves the oxidative stress, seems to help with digestion a little bit. What I notice is that I get slightly deeper sleep from it. And in our particular environment as Americans, it's probably very helpful to have, because what it's doing is it's relieving some of the oxidative stress associated with some of the foods we eat in our environment and everything like that. We have a tough time clearing some of those, the substrates from oxidative stress, and sort of fighting our environment, if you will. So, and glycine also seems to be somewhat helpful with some of the phytoestrogens and things like that, the hormones that are in some of the foods that we eat, and helping them break down in the gut. And even potentially, we're not 100% sure, potentially helping with some like the microplastic petroleum-based products that we consume, like even drinking out of water bottles that are plastic and things like that, seems to mitigate a good deal of that. And for those of you that are not on testosterone, it does seem to actually potentially help with some of those types of chemicals that you may be ingesting from time to time or exposed to that can downregulate testosterone production. It actually seems to mitigate some of that, because it helps with basically scrubbing them and also clearing some of the oxidative stress associated with clearing those types of we could say like hormone disruptive chemicals and substances. So that's what I'm taking. Of the things that most people should probably be taking, pretty much everybody should take vitamin C and zinc. Most people should probably take alpha GPC. Most people in America should probably take magnesium. D3 depends on your blood work. It really depends on, really your environment and your exposure and everything else. Probably every man at least should take K2, specifically the MK7 formulation, just because it's cardioprotective. I'm not aware of any issues with taking above the recommended dose. This is 100 micrograms. Iron, not everybody should take iron. Iron should only be taken if you have blood work that says you should take iron. Even if you're pregnant, you shouldn't necessarily take this lightly, because iron can build up in your system. You can get poisoning from iron. And so this should only be started with blood work that says that you need that. Folate, you can take it or leave it. Most people don't need it. I wouldn't bother with it unless you have reason to suspect. And most people should probably take glycine. And again, this is what I would recommend in the evening. This is what I'd recommend in the morning. This you could take either way, and that's why I do one in the morning and one in the evening. Seems to work pretty well for me. And that's pretty much a summary of everything that I'm taking. If you are someone who's trying to figure out what kind of supplements might be beneficial to you, among other lifestyle factors, diet, training, exercise, things like that, and want to mitigate some health risks that you may have, and you're looking for health advice and how to transform your body, put on muscle mass, lose fat, all that kind of stuff, help mitigate certain disease states you might be in, get off medication that you might not have to be on for life, then reach out to us. We can help you rehab an injury or do whatever else you need. You can find us at highcallingfitness.com. Feel free to book a meeting anytime. We'd be happy to see how we can help you realize your dreams and be called to and realize a higher calling. Thanks, guys. My name is Justin Johnson with High Calling Fitness. Maybe you're tired, gaining weight, waking up with joint pain, back pain, and a body that just doesn't feel like it used to. You've tried to fix it, but nothing seems to last. What if you don't need another app or crash diet, but a real coach, someone to meet you where you're at and walk with you step by step? At High Calling Fitness, our coaching comes to you wherever you are. No matter where you live, small town or city, across the country or across the world, your health still matters. You don't have to go it alone. We build personalized plans based on your goals, your schedule, and your equipment, even if it's just a set of dumbbells in a small space. This isn't just training, it's a personal partnership. You'll get weekly updates, one-on-one access to your coach, and ongoing support through Zoom and Slack every step of the way. We're here to help you build strength, restore energy, and claim the life you were meant to live. Book a free consult today. Let's talk about your goals and see how we can build something better together. High Calling Fitness, built for the everyday, ready for the extraordinary.